to.
The rescue mission has begun. And the terrifying part is that Jaime Fraser already knows this may be the moment that destroys everything he has left. Lord John Grey is running out of time. The war at King's Mountain is closing in from every direction, and every choice Jaime makes now feels like stepping deeper into a trap designed specifically for him. But what makes this situation even more dangerous is not just the enemy waiting in the shadows. It is the emotional pressure building inside Jaime himself. Because this is no longer only about war. It is about loyalty, family, sacrifice, and the one decision that could change the future of everyone connected to him forever. And as episode 10 moves into its darkest chapter yet, one terrifying question begins to take over the story. Can Jaime save Lord John Grey without destroying everything else in the process? The episode opens with a heavy feeling that something irreversible has already started. There is no sense of safety anymore. Every conversation feels tense, every movement feels urgent, and the pressure surrounding Jaime continues to grow with every passing moment. Lord John Grey's capture is no longer being treated as a temporary problem that can be solved quietly. It has become a crisis powerful enough to pull every major character into the same dangerous storm. And the most painful part is that Jaime understands exactly how serious this situation really is. Because he knows the men responsible for this are not simply looking for revenge. They are trying to force him into an impossible position where every option leads to loss. As Jaime begins preparing for the rescue mission, the emotional weight on him becomes almost overwhelming. The battlefield at King's Mountain is demanding his attention at the exact same time that Lord John Grey's life is hanging by a thread. And this creates a brutal conflict inside him, because both responsibilities matter equally. On one side, there is the war that could decide the future of countless lives. On the other side, there is a man who has protected his son, supported his family, and remained loyal even through years of silence, pain, and complicated history. Jaime cannot simply walk away from that. But the more he focuses on saving Lord John Grey, the more dangerous the war situation becomes. What makes this episode feel even darker is the growing realization that the enemy expected this reaction from the very beginning. Every detail surrounding Lord John Grey's disappearance feels too carefully planned to be accidental. It slowly becomes clear that this kidnapping was designed to create emotional chaos around Jaime specifically. The people behind it understand his weaknesses. They understand his loyalty. And most importantly, they understand that Jaime Fraser will risk everything for the people he loves. That knowledge alone makes the rescue mission feel terrifying because it means Jaime is walking directly into a situation where the enemy already knows how he thinks. At the same time, William's emotional state continues to become more unstable. Lord John Grey is not simply someone important to him. He is the man who raised him, protected him, and shaped the person he became. And now, after finally learning the truth about Jaime being his real father, William feels like his entire world is collapsing all over again. The kidnapping hits him in a deeply personal way because it feels like another piece of his identity is being ripped away from him before he has even had time to process everything else. That emotional pain begins pushing him toward dangerous decisions. The tension between Jaime and William becomes one of the strongest parts of the episode because both men are carrying pain they barely know how to express. Jaime wants to protect William from more heartbreak, but he also knows he cannot control him anymore. William is no longer a child standing safely on the sidelines. He is emotionally driven, desperate to help, and willing to throw himself directly into danger if it means saving Lord John Grey. And that creates a terrifying possibility for Jaime because he now risks losing both Lord John Grey and William at the same time. As plans for the rescue slowly begin taking shape, the story starts feeling more dangerous with every scene. Nothing about this mission feels clean or simple. Jaime knows the enemy is waiting for him. He knows every move could be watched. And yet there is no longer enough time to hesitate. Lord John Grey's condition becomes more uncertain with every passing hour, creating a sense that the rescue must happen immediately no matter how risky it becomes. That urgency changes the emotional tone of the entire episode because it forces everyone into action before they are truly ready. At the same time, The approaching war keeps hanging over the story like a shadow that never disappears. Soldiers are preparing for battle. Alliances feel fragile. Fear is spreading quietly beneath the surface. And Jaime is trapped between two impossible responsibilities pulling him in opposite directions. The closer he moves towards saving Lord John Grey, the more vulnerable his forces become for the coming battle. But if he ignores the rescue and focuses only on war, he risks destroying the trust and loyalty that still holds his fractured family together. What makes episode 10 so emotionally powerful is the way it turns every decision into a sacrifice. There are no easy victories anymore. Every step forward comes with consequences attached to it. Jaime understands this better than anyone. He knows that even if the rescue succeeds, the damage caused by this situation may already be too deep to fully repair. And yet he still pushes forward because abandoning Lord John Grey is simply not something he can live with. As the first stage of the rescue mission finally begins, the atmosphere becomes almost suffocating with tension. Every movement feels dangerous. Every delay feels deadly. And underneath all of it is the terrifying realization that this mission may not end with everyone surviving. The closer Jaime gets to Lord John Grey, the more the story begins to feel like it is moving toward a breaking point where loyalty, love, and war will collide in the most painful way possible. And the scariest part is that Jaime already senses it. He knows that once this rescue truly begins, nothing in his life will ever return to the way it was before. The deeper Jaime moves into the rescue mission, the more the entire situation begins to feel like a nightmare slowly closing around him. What once seemed like a desperate attempt to save one man now starts revealing itself as something much larger and far more dangerous. Every step forward uncovers another layer of manipulation, another sign that the enemy is carefully controlling the pressure around him. And for the first time in a long time, Jaime begins to realize that this may not simply be a trap designed to capture him. It may be a trap designed to break him emotionally before the real battle even begins. As night falls, the tension inside the camp becomes almost unbearable. Everyone can feel that something terrible is coming, even if nobody says it out loud. Soldiers prepare themselves for the coming conflict at King's Mountain, but their attention keeps drifting back toward Lord John Grey's disappearance. Rumors spread quietly between men who are already exhausted from fear and uncertainty. Some believe the rescue is impossible. Others believe Jaime is risking far too much for one man. But nobody dares question him directly because they can see the determination in his face. Jaime has already made his choice. No matter how dangerous this becomes, he is going after Lord John Grey. What makes this moment even more intense is how isolated Jaime begins to feel. Leadership has always placed heavy pressure on him, but now the emotional burden feels almost crushing. He is carrying the responsibility of war while also trying to hold together the fragile emotional pieces of his family. And the closer he gets to the rescue mission, the more those responsibilities begin tearing him apart from the inside. Because every choice now feels personal. Every risk carries the possibility of losing someone he loves. At the same time, William's emotional struggle continues, becoming more unstable. He tries to appear calm, but underneath that control is growing panic. Lord John Grey has been the only stable father figure in his life for years, and now the fear of losing him is pushing William toward reckless behavior. The most heartbreaking part is that Jaime sees this clearly. He recognizes the fear in William because it reminds him of his own pain. But knowing that does not make the situation easier. In fact, it makes everything worse because Jaime now understands that if this rescue fails, William may never recover emotionally from the loss. This creates one of the most powerful emotional conflicts in the episode. Jaime is not only trying to save Lord John Grey because of loyalty or friendship. He is also trying to protect William from a grief that could permanently destroy the fragile bond they have only recently begun rebuilding. Every decision Jaime makes now is connected to that fear. And it becomes painfully clear that this mission is no longer about strategy alone. It has become deeply emotional in ways that make rational thinking almost impossible. Meanwhile, the enemy continues tightening control over the situation. Small details begin revealing that Lord John Grey's capture was planned with terrifying precision. The people behind it understand Jaime's emotional weaknesses better than he expected. They knew he would come. They knew William would become involved. And most importantly, they knew that forcing Jaime into an emotional rescue mission right before King's Mountain could destabilize everything around him. That realization changes the tone of the episode completely because it confirms that this is not just an isolated attack. It is part of a much larger strategy connected directly to the war itself. As Jaime and his small group move closer toward the location where Lord John Grey is believed to be held, the atmosphere becomes heavier with every passing moment. Trust begins feeling fragile even among allies because nobody knows how much information has already been leaked to the enemy. Jaime starts questioning every detail around him. Every silence feels suspicious. Every delay feels dangerous. And the terrifying part is that paranoia may actually be justified. The emotional pacing of the episode becomes even more intense when William refuses to stay behind. Despite the danger, he insists on being part of the rescue mission, believing he cannot stand aside while Lord John Grey suffers. This decision creates another layer of fear for Jaime because he understands how emotionally vulnerable William currently is. A rescue mission requires control, patience, and discipline. But William is operating entirely from emotion. He is driven by fear, guilt, and desperation. And in a situation this dangerous, emotional decisions can get people killed. Still, Jaime cannot bring himself to stop him completely. Part of him understands why William feels this way. Part of him even respects it. But another part of him is terrified because he knows the rescue is already unstable enough without adding more emotional unpredictability into the situation. This creates a quiet emotional tension between them that hangs over every conversation. Neither man fully knows how to communicate what they are feeling, yet both understand the stakes better than ever before. As the rescue mission moves forward, the episode begins shifting from suspense into pure emotional pressure. The danger no longer feels distant. It feels immediate. Every sound, every movement, every moment of silence starts carrying weight. Jaime realizes there may not be enough time left to save Lord John Grey without paying a terrible price. And for the first time, the possibility of failure begins entering his mind in a serious way. That fear changes him. It hardens his focus, but it also exposes how emotionally exhausted he truly is. Jaime has spent so much time carrying responsibility for everyone around him that he barely has room left for his own pain. But now all of that pain is surfacing at once. The war, William, Lord John Grey, the fear of losing everything. It all crashes together inside him as the mission reaches its most dangerous stage. And this is where episode 10 becomes emotionally devastating. Because the rescue is no longer simply about saving a prisoner. It becomes a moment where every hidden emotional wound inside these characters is forced into the open. Jaime is not just fighting enemies anymore. He is fighting against guilt, fear, regret, and the terrifying possibility that no matter what choice he makes, someone he loves may not survive what comes next.